What's your name?
This is
Question.
Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing good, Wendy. I hadn't. Yeah. How's it going?
Good, good. I actually called to comment a bit on the forum from last night and Gary Johnson, but I see that you've switched topics entirely, so I'm going to try to connect the two.
Yeah. Give me a little bit
But
of
with
both. Give
regard to
me. That's fine. Give me both.
sure,
What you got?
sure. So with regard to things that other athletes are saying and trying to kind of bridge this support for the troops or support of patriotism or whatever under the guise of basically not being woke, right? They're,
Yeah.
they're doing the opposite of what
Decidedly.
you would expect, and they're condemning and trying to silence Kaepernick, which I think is wrong. But I think we also see something very similar happening in the mainstream press when it comes to international issues and concerns that do relate to our troops, to be honest, and that this sort of connects what we saw last night and this morning.
Yes.
What's interesting about the Gary Johnson debacle is that I agree that he should know, and I was just like appalled. I don't like him or his policies, but I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, like you want to be president and you can't even locate Aleppo or probably Syria on a map. But the worst part about it is that the people who are responding and freaking out about it were also often making errors about Syria.
Yep.
So the New York Times in particular, they've made repeated errors when it came to Iraq, when it comes to even specific locations in
Yep.
Syria, when it comes to what forces do X, Y, Z. So it's really it's hypocrisy at its finest, but it's worse because Gary Johnson doesn't have nearly the same level of a platform that the New York Times does.
Right.
And then on top of that,
Yeah.
that Hillary Clinton does or that Donald Trump does. So when we watched them last night, Hillary Clinton repeatedly made statements about what's going on in the Middle East that were completely inaccurate, that were bridging all sorts of groups that have nothing to do with each other, but because of, the people who are paying her bills and helping her campaign, she has to kind of name drop, or I would say country drop, right? So she's got to talk about Iran, and she's got to talk about Hezbollah, and a lot of these things really weren't connected, but she was trying to string them together in an attempt to seem like she's an
Informed.
authority on it.
Yep.
And yes, she's smart, but at the end of the day, she was wrong about a lot of things, and there's no one there to check her of it, and that's the real problem here we have.
That's the problem. That's the problem is because we don't have people in place who can real-time fact check. Matter of fact, was it Chris Wallace who said that his job, and this is, I feel so bad because just last week I'm like, Chris Wallace is pretty consistent, pretty thorough. I wouldn't sleep on Chris Wallace from Fox News. Then he comes out and says, well, it's not his job to fact check them. If you as a journalist and a moderator are not going to fact check someone who's using your platform or even just in your presence, then what are you even there for? And that's what I had a problem with Matt Lauer last night, in addition to a couple of other things, was that he did not use that as an opportunity to forward the conversation any meaningful way last night. Instead, he's talked about the emails, and I'm as appalled with Comey using 14 minutes of his press conference to explain why Hillary Clinton should be charged, and then the last 60 seconds basically say I'm not charging her. I'm just as appalled as anyone else. But enough with the damn emails when we actually have some substantive things that we can't even unpack because everybody, Matt Lauer, journalists, just want to take all the time to repeat what's already been said a million times. Wendy, you connected those two things very seamlessly. You seem to be a pro at this. We have to get you on the show to do it sometime.
Good, thanks. All right.
Thanks for the call. You have a great weekend. 857-600-0518. Yeah, man. That does bother me. Like I was taken aback. 14 minutes of that Comey. I'm with you on the emails. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you on the emails, but enough about the emails because we're not allowed. We're focusing on that so much that we can't talk about some real policy problems that both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have challenges on, and some of their positions are, well,